after 8 seasons, it's finally time for the What's Up Bro podcast review of Game of Thrones.
But now.
And we're recording. All right. So this is an extra little added bonus, WuBro, that we're gonna do, and it's the Game of Thrones recap, thoughts on Game of Thrones. Kind of throwing it on to the panel here. I'm Nary Signs. With me, is as usual, is Jeff.
Hi.
And Missy.
Hi.
And today we have a different Uyo in the house.
Ooh.
We have the funny one. We have.
Oh, wow.
Don't laugh. You're
Dave,
gonna
why
die.
are you nodding your head up and down?
Why you pay?
You're giving me much too credit.
Make that payment out to Nary Signs.
$40.
And Dave.
So
Dave is with us.
what was his name.com?
What was his name.com. So make sure, anyway, so thanks for checking us out. We're going to do a really quick, the series finale just aired last night at the time of this recording. So we want to talk about our thoughts as a whole of not only this season, but of Game of Thrones itself. So did it live up to what you guys were expecting? Did you guys like it, hate it? What are your thoughts? And Missy.
Oh, good. So it's weird because
That's
I'm
exactly how
okay
everybody
with
feels.
I'm okay with how everything ended. I am, but I'm still like, like I think the first 45 minutes up until when, spoiler alert, Daenerys.
Oh, there's going to be a spoiler episode, guys.
Oh, well,
No, it is.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
okay, so it's
Wait, why are you spoiling?
up until the 45-minute mark, which I know because we stopped because Lisa had to pee exactly right after she died. It's like it's building up to that, and then it makes sense that's how, that was like the halfway point because she's dead. And it made sense to me, like the whole arc this season, how everyone most of the internet is like flabbergasted that she lost her shit. I think
she was a Targaryen.
Yeah, it's like to me it made perfect sense. I think this is where they were leading us the whole time. It's just that you wanted to believe that she was going to be the hero because that's how they sold it to you first couple of
Dave
seasons.
has been saying on private chats, Dave, you've been saying for a while that she's not a hero.
The first season and the second season, she was definitely painted as a hero, and very quickly
As a victim
as a victim
in the beginning,
right?
And then
Which is it's very easy to fall in love with someone
Exactly.
when they've been victimized in that way,
Right.
And so when
Missy wouldn't mind getting victimized by Khal Drogo.
right neither would
I don't know that rape is the way I want to go.
That wasn't, but
That
was
wasn't-
it? She was married.
Yeah.
No, he rapes her.
he definitely
Yeah.
rapes her.
He rapes her.
Well, she was.
But she turns it around and
She
remember
flipped- yeah,
her.
Is it rape when she's on top?
No, that's later.
That's later.
That's when
Remember, her handmaid tells her, she's like, "Hey,
She turned
you
around,
have
made
to-
flip it, and
yeah.
reversed it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it was like it was a few episodes in. I think after he killed her brother is when he was like
Spoilers.
I think it was
No, it was
before
way
that.
before that.
Yeah, it was before that.
They were in love before that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
then but no, the first couple times was rape, so I don't know. But anyway, you were saying.
I
Cow
very
dog.
very quickly, like around season 3, I stopped seeing her as a hero character, and from season 4, like that whole thing with the slavers and Marine,
Breaker chains.
Are you talking about the 700 crucifixions?
right?
that
So
occurred?
I mean, and that's the thing is that though there was always a justification for the extreme violence, the violence was always to the extreme. So
She lit up a stage and watched his chumps like candles.
So I never really saw her as a hero. I saw her more as like I wouldn't say anti-hero. I would say anti-villain, where she's there's definitely a dark streak in her. But my biggest issue. Are we moving on from?
No.
No,
Or are we all just chiming in?
Oh no, I'm just saying. I just saying because she brought up the fact that
Okay.
people
We're surprised.
were surprised by her turn and that she wasn't a hero. And I was like, well, Dave's been calling this for a while.
Yeah, but I was still surprised by what happened in episode 5 because to me it felt rushed because I totally see it ending up there where she is the Mad Targaryen, she's the Mad Queen, and she's got her father's blood and all that. But she always chose the path to the crown. And any time where she did go mad, right, there was always a purpose.
Period.
It was.
But well, go ahead, finish.
If the only one laughing is one other guy, it doesn't make it funny. You can't laugh off mic, Missy.
I wasn't laughing.
You were laughing.
funny part
There was a
is
You were
smirk.
laughing.
You were smirking.
Oh,
They didn't talk
smirking
about
off
the
I
timeline.
had something on my face.
But they didn't talk about the timelines, but each of those major things in all those seasons were 28 days apart.
I fucking hate this room so much. Fuck this room.
That's why it was called the Red Wedding.
You fuckers.
So that to me that was just the thing is that anytime that she did, have that Mad Targaryen thing about her, there was always a reason why it had
There was
come on.
justification.
There was justification
Like she may
for
have been
it.
provoked, or it was
Yeah.
a strategy.
And
or something.
ultimately it was bad guys that suffered.
But at the same time, every time throughout, and preface this with, I'm the only one in this group that binged it in a month,
Which obviously makes a difference.
which to me stands on the fact that it makes a huge difference, because I didn't wait 8 years dragging on to see this, and I remembered all these little things that happened throughout the seasons because I just saw them. But Daenerys, she throughout every season, she would have these moments of psycho, but she always had somebody that was her second hand that would bring her back to earth. She'd be like, no, let's just go murder all these people. And they're like, wait.
And Tyrion was one of the guys who
Yes.
talked her off of that, and Tyrion did the same thing here. I think that were there signs from before? Of course,
Tons.
there were lots of signs, but there's also lots of signs that this wouldn't happen also. And I think
There was hope.
But right.
I don't
there
think
was
there was
hope.
hope. There's signs too.
I don't think there were
because
signs, man.
Tyrion told her not to burn. What the fuck is this city?
King's Landing.
No, well, yeah. No, there was something in
Don't do
season 6. Maybe it was Olive Marine again, where she goes back to Marine.
I think you may be thinking about season 7 in Spoils of War, where before she takes off on her dragon, she talks to Tyrion and Jorah, and they both tell her, they're basically telling her, don't follow your instinct, because she's panicking because she feels like she's losing the war. And then I think it was like the second or third, it was like way further into the season 7, and Jon tells her, and this is foreshadowing as fuck. He's like, if you take your dragons and you start burning down cities, like, people are following you because you're hope for a new type of world, not the one that they all know. But if you take your dragons and you burn down cities, you're more of the same.
Yeah.
right.
And so she got on the dragon, she fucking burned down the wagon trail, and then she killed Sam's dad.
Right.
I mean, and she's a really bad ruler, so
Oh, yeah.
they tell her, you're not a ruler, you're a conqueror, because she knows how to. All she wants to do is fuck shit up.
I've always thought
She's
of her.
trying to conquer. I don't think she's destructive, but it's like
Tell that to the burnt children of King's
it's
Landing.
Well,
that's now.
if
but
you want something, and people don't want to let you have it, how else are you supposed to get it? If you don't, if you have dragons that breathe fire, how else are you supposed to get what you want?
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
We're not gonna have diplomatic conversations.
Diplomatic immunity.
There's
been
even the conversations, even the diplomatic conversation that they had at King's Landing about trying to get their forces to fight the White Walkers.
Yeah.
There was dragons flying overhead.
Right.
yeah, she arrives in the motherfucking dragon.
Yeah.
Like, here's my dick. How does
Yeah.
it taste?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was on purpose. That was to kind of show off.
Right. Of course it is.
But then
Well, also, how else are you gonna travel?
yeah. If
I fly dragons, but I'm gonna go on a fucking.
no, let me take this donkey carriage.
well, I don't know. How did she roll up
Oh,
to
yeah,
Winterfell
so-
on a fucking horse next to John? She could do it.
What I was thinking of was in season 6. She goes back to
That
Marine.
wasn't a horse, that was actually
and
John's
she finds that the city's under attack from
The slavers.
from the slavers.
Right.
And so she says, "I will crucify the masters. I will set their fleets afire. I will kill every last one of their soldiers and return their cities to the dirt." And then Tyrion talks her out of it.
And they're like, maybe
So-
you shouldn't.
Yeah, but that's not a sign
a
of.
idol.
But you're saying that
that's a sign that she could go the other way.
that she could go the other way. I'm saying that the hope was there.
That's what I'm saying is that it was always a give and take with her.
What did I miss?
Because
You missed my joke.
no, but I made
What
her,
was my
I made
joke?
her
Tell her
I
my
made her
joke.
wince.
I said that wasn't her. That wasn't a horse that she rode in on. That was John's dick.
and then
None of you fucking heard that one, but whatever.
I heard it.
I was
and when she
I was busy
after-
talking about Game of
and after
Thrones.
he said the thing like, "Oh, take a Midol and relax."
So yeah, there always was hope. You know, we saw both sides of the coin. Is my point.
Yeah.
And I think that had they taken more time to develop this,
I thought it was perfectly.
I mean, there's.
I would have bought into
I
it.
mean, there's a plot. A lot.
So-
Like, we
there's
talked about
certainly
it
a lot of
off
plot
air
holes.
about the Targaryen thing. Like, that's a
Yeah,
blaring one.
as far as the series finale goes, I think there's a glaring.
But I don't
We're
think
not
it
even gonna
mattered
mention. We're not even gonna. Yes, but
But then don't mention it.
No, no,
if
but-
it doesn't
no, no,
matter.
but
If it's
I-
not going to play
no, no,
any role whatsoever.
I
Because
disagree. I disagree.
They're trying to set you up for all of us to fucking waste weeks going, oh, he's gonna fuck her and then be king. Oh,
But-
he's
but
gonna.
here's the thing.
Arya's gonna like.
Here's
all
my
these
problem with that.
theories.
Here's my problem with that, Missy, is I don't care. I don't mind that it doesn't matter anymore. I mind that it wasn't brought up. Bring it up in the council meeting where everybody's trying to decide what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You bring it up and be like, he's a true Targaryen. Then have Grey Worm go, it doesn't matter, he killed our queen. Fuck it. That's
There
it.
you go.
I'm
You
in.
mentioned
I'm
it.
done. You mentioned it. At least you mentioned it, and you decided to go tell us to go fuck ourselves. That's fine. Just like when Sam mentioned democracy, and you guys laughed him out of the fucking
Or
council.
his uncle.
Oh,
as
Uncle,
it
sit
was,
down.
Sit down.
fucking Uncle Blackjack.
Tío.
that's so
tranquilo.
hilarious. He's like, democracy, let the people decide. And I was like, look at this guy introducing democracy
Yeah.
into Westeros.
And they're
And
like,
they laughed his ass. I was like, wow.
I bet
Or
you.
also like absolutely no one. Sansa, Bran's dick doesn't work. Like that's been one of my favorite.
I was like, how do you even know his dick doesn't work? How do you know he can't have kids? There are people that are quadriplegic that still have kids.
Okay, we know that now.
Maybe
not
he's
like
really called the
400
Four-Eyed Raven.
You know, I was gonna say you don't call him the 3-eyed raven for nothing.
No, but
The third eye is his penis
Yes,
eye.
I understand. I didn't
like
need
the
a
head of
visual.
it.
God damn
like
it.
the hole in the head of the penis. It looks
Oh,
at you.
God, someone kill me.
And if you
You're
pet
right.
it, it spits at you.
You're right though that as it stands, the whole John being
A Targaryen.
is simply a plot device to get Daenerys to go crazy.
It's a red herring.
That's one hell of a red herring, though.
I just think mentioning it at the last, just mention it. Even if you
No,
tell us to go
I
fuck
don't
ourselves,
think-
just mention it at the last episode.
And
That's
then-
all I would have been
Not
happy
just
with.
that, But wait. Going back to what you just said about it's like it's a way for an excuse for Daenerys to go off the rails. I disagree because she doesn't go off the rails because she feels threatened. She has a fucking dragon. She could just kill him if she wanted to. I think she goes off the rail because everyone who was in her circle that talked sense into her and not like talked her down from her impulse to go Targaryen is gone. And then the other thing is that I think that
But also,
It
like
was-
partly by her own hand.
but what do you mean Jorah didn't die because of her?
No, not Jorah. I said partly.
Miss Andy didn't die because of her either. That was
Oh well, yeah. If
for
she
being in the ship.
no, if she had not rushed into battle,
They told her,
yes,
take
they
your
did.
Miss
time.
Sandy would not
because
have died.
Sansa
If
was
you
right the whole
listen
fucking
listen
season.
to your fucking advisors.
But Sansa, came from Sansa.
But then again,
And
she did
wiped
listen-
But her other advisors,
every other advisor
every
told
other
her.
advisor
Yeah.
was like, maybe you're
But she did listen
I'm
to
not
Tyrion a few
defend-
times, and they lost like 4 battles in a row or four skirmishes in a row.
Okay, but there's a difference between going back to what you were saying, and the other thing that I would say is that had they not introduced the Targaryen thing, then there would have never been any conflict for her to take the throne. There would have been no Jon killing her because of what she did, because she wouldn't have had to do it because she probably felt more pressure. Emilia Clarke has said it in several interviews that she gave, which if you're listening and like to read, the one for Entertainment Weekly and the one from the New Yorker, those
I
interviews are
retweeted it.
phenomenal.
I retweeted the one for Entertainment Weekly. If you just need a link.
She says she's walking us through the arc this season, and she's basically saying that she's lost everything, and the one thing, this is coming from Emilia Clarke, not the writers, not Emilia, her the actress herself, the one thing that's connecting her, that's keeping her grounded after everyone is dead, is the prospect of Jon loving her despite everything, and he shoots her down. and that's when she snaps. This is coming
Yeah,
from
'cause
her,
He said no. He goes, no sexy time for you.
right? So,
But I also I didn't like
just-
I,
remember
I
the
don't
black
like
stallion
the
you wrote in
like
on?
crazy
Can't
ex-girlfriend
get
trope.
it.
Kitchen's
I don't
closed.
think it's a crazy ex-girlfriend thing.
That's not crazy.
Yeah,
ex-girlfriend.
I
That's how
I think
everything
so.
in your life is going wrong, and the one thing you have to rely on is a person that you love not being there anymore. That's not a crazy ex-girlfriend.
John. If John would have,
She didn't lose it when Drogo died. Not
Because
not
she
like
didn't
that.
Lose it when Drogo died.
Not like this.
She didn't have. First of all, she didn't have her dragons. So I mean, tomato.
Or the-
I mean, it's not really potato. You're not really saying the same thing
or
here.
the Dothraki, or the Unsullied, she hadn't gone through
It's a fair
everything
point.
that she
All
had.
right.
And,
And
it was
she
also
did go
her
crazy.
fault- and it was also her direct fault that he
And
died.
she did go crazy. That's what she kept
Because
mumbling.
Yeah.
She trusted the witch.
She kept mumbling to herself that she was the mother of dragons, and everybody's like, "This bitch is crazy."
Yeah.
And then she went through and then she lived through fire. That's
they're like,
a version of crazy.
But okay,
And then she was like, "He's gonna come back to me." Remember? She was like waiting for him
What
to
if
come
she
back
was
to her.
really schizophrenic and she was badly burned and you just don't know it and she sees herself like that?
Oh, that's
Everybody's
So-
like, oh fuck.
That's a Family Guy type of twist. No, not
One-
Family Guy. Dad, right? American Dad. That's the kind of twist that American
Yeah.
Dad would do.
But like a lot of people on my feed were like pissed off. Like some person was saying none of this was seen about, and I'm like, look, Bran from the get-go, after he became the three-eyed raven, has said he does not want anything. He doesn't seek like the pleasures in life. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't want anything. I'm sorry, but that's the king that you want to have. The person that isn't going to be selfish and want more and feed more, that they're going to
like a Jon Snow
well, but the thing at the same time, Jon Snow.
who actually has leadership experience.
But remember, Jon Snow never wanted to be a leader ever. He was always forced into those leadership
you
roles.
just said the same thing about Bran.
But Bran doesn't want to be.
But Bran-
he doesn't want war. He doesn't want to.
But
be a fight.
Bran just doesn't have wants in general. He
Any
doesn't
wants.
want. He doesn't have any wants or anything. John was a
And
great
his dick
leader
doesn't
when he
work.
was, but this is the happy ending for John. He didn't want to be a leader. He's the one place once he was accepted by the wildlings that he had joy was with the wildlings.
Yeah.
The
So
Wildlings
no,
were
I
the
mean,
one
listen,
group-
I'll agree that all the Starks ended up probably where they should have. My
Right.
favorites being Sansa and Arya.
I know.
Yeah.
Granted,
They
yeah.
ended up exactly where they needed
Well, those
to
are
end.
only
And people were
Oh, no,
complaining
those
about
three
that.
Starks
They're like,
left,
well, why is Arya? And I go, Arya, after all she's been through, her love is that adventure.
No.
It's adventure and seeing the world.
Yep.
And
it's his DNA.
Yeah.
His DNA is Targaryen.
Not 100%.
It's-
Ned Stark's sister is his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Half Stark.
But Ned Stark's sister was no longer a Stark at that point. She was a Baratheon.
But her blood
But
is.
her DNA.
Nah, she's a Targaryen. John's a
Oh,
Targaryen.
he's playing God now, so
John's a Targaryen.
but
That's what Targaryens do. They play God. I can play God too.
Arya, the entire time, all she's seen is how exciting adventure is. So that's the best way for it to end for her.
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what would have pissed me
that
off?
I want that series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want that
I do
series.
too.
I do too. What
Written by
would've
somebody
pissed
else.
me
I want
off
that series.
is that if Arya
Written by
would've-
R.R. Martin.
if Arya had been like, you know how at the end she drops the whole vendetta for vengeance. Unfortunately, like right before the Hound goes to fight to his death.
That didn't make sense to me.
That made perfect sense.
For her to drop the vendetta.
Because the Hound is telling her this is where you're going to become if vengeance
But
is the
people
only
How
to
many?
thing.
end up
How
in a
many?
different place where
How
they
many? How many
started.
times has the Hound told her this, only for her to continue
Because she
on
finally
this path?
realized
There's
that
a
at that
fucking
point,
building falling
Because
at
there's a
that
building
point
fall-
she realized. At that point, I feel that she legitimately saw in the Hound the sincerity
He-
that
he
the
cared for
whole
her.
father. They had basically a father-daughter relationship,
A surrogate
and
father,
that was the culmination. That she was like, you know what, you did those things, but you're not really that person.
And there's an actual building falling upon you. So you can see if I go do this, this is the end for me. This is the end.
I don't. I mean, yes, I agree. I just don't know when that ever mattered to her before. Like she always did things that were
She
like
got
against
dick.
the odds
But
because
did any of those other people on that list ever treat her the way the Hound ended up treating her, taking him under his wing, and caring for her and teaching her how to fight and do it? Because not only did
And
the
he protected
swordsman teach
her.
her, but he was showing. He was like talking to her, showing her things to the point that she showed the respect to him of not killing him after Brienne fucked him up. She was like, "No, I left him. I didn't kill him," because she could have easily killed him,
Right.
and marked him off the list. But at that point, she had already that right there showed a sign of the fact that she wasn't really she was starting to turn the course with him.
Also,
with him,
With
not,
him.
not
But-
Cersei.
But
Cersei, what's she gonna do? Go up to the dead body that's in the rubble and poke it?
but then okay, so then she has
I feel like this whole season was an exercise in not completing people's stories,
I feel
Except for
except for the Hound,
except for Davos.
Braun
Got
who learned to read,
Braun got exactly what he
and
wanted.
Braun's story was fucking awesome.
That's the best part of this whole
Right.
fucking show.
I thought Stephanie was gonna hate Braun's story. I was like, oh, Stephanie's hating this shit.
Well-
she's been hating on Braun for a long time.
Braun is the best fucking
Why did
character.
she hate on Braun?
I don't know. I didn't know that she hated on him.
I mean, you should rethink
Am I?
your marriage.
Bran.
Bran.
oh, Bran she
Bran.
hates.
Yeah, she
Braun
hates
is
Bran.
the
Yeah. The
other
big
Cell
one.
guy.
sword. Best character in the show.
Yep.
It's my opinion, my humble opinion, that this franchise, I think it was so like it was such a phenom. It was like the expectations were so incredibly high, and because so many people are so invested in it, in my opinion, there was no way for the writers to really satisfy everyone.
Oh, they were.
Oh,
Of course not. No,
and
no.
I think they
Unfortunately-
spent $90 million on this season alone. They shot over almost 60 days in the middle of fucking nowhere.
And there's still water bottles in the
all
scene.
the cast, all the crew, the crew, everyone that was on the set. I feel like when people calm down with their reactions, like maybe we can just take it for what it is, because I don't know where the petition will be when this airs, but as it stands, there's 1 million people that have signed a petition for a redo,
Which is
and I think
stupid
it's
as
so
fuck.
Yeah.
fucking.
So stupid.
It's not just stupid, in my opinion.
offensive.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because you how fucking dare you think that you could walk into the fucking writer's room of this show?
Of any show.
Well,
of
I'm
any
gonna-
show.
I'm gonna
Of
tell-
any show,
of any
but
show.
I'm going
This
to
is
tell
the-
you this though.
this is the problem that I've had.
with Game of Thrones is that this show has a bunch of people who never were really into the genre, who were never even read the books. Because I've seen a lot of folks on my feed that I know have never even touched those books. That I
I
guarantee.
haven't even seen those books.
Well, but
Literally.
you did. You saw it in the last episode.
Literally, I haven't.
Song of Ice and Fire. But
Yeah.
but like. For example, I can
When
tell
they
you
kept
right now.
mentioning the title-
Unfortunately, they would have pleased a ton of people if Daenerys would have ended up sitting on the throne.
But I don't.
But I don't think if they were really fans of the show, that they should have
That
known
doesn't-
from the beginning
That would not
wasn't gonna
have been an ending I liked either.
It was. Excuse me. It would have been a happy ending kind of end to the series, and that to me would have been a cheap out to making sure that they end on a good note. Because
But that goes against the spirit of the show.
Exactly.
right. So that's what I'm saying is like I think once people settle down, because trust, like I've been thinking about it since last night. So and it's still trending on Twitter, and it's 24 hours later. So people are still like whatever and feeling their feelings, and the actors are the interviews that they gave that had spoilers are just coming out. So there's a lot of perspective to like if you really want to invest into what the actual actors were thinking, then there's stuff out there for you to kind of mull over so you can understand. Because there wasn't at the end of this episode there wasn't like that 10-minute thing where they explain the episode. They didn't.
Well, they
do
filmed
that.
a whole documentary.
Right, the documentary's coming out in a couple of weeks, so I'm sure we'll settle down a lot of the issues. But my personal opinion, I think that it's fucking disrespectful as fuck, and Sophie Turner agrees, not with me, just the concept that how fucking dare you? Like these people dedicated 10 years of their lives as a whole, but this past season alone they gave us 6 fucking movies.
Yeah.
Like they weren't gonna give you everything, obviously, and there's no fucking way. Like there's too many people that watch this show for them to really make sure that they fucking please everybody. It was never gonna happen.
I think that the problem is that most of these people never saw Dexter and committed to Dexter because
Oh, God,
if
what
they
a
would have
fucking
that
shit
fucking
show.
ending
Well,
was the fucking
I-
worst thing
Me
on
and Missy-
TV.
me and
Nope,
Missy
the
did
lost ending.
Here's the
on
thing,
my calendar for November, never.
I think I mentioned this to you. Christy rewatched Lost recently. She binged the entire series, and
Really?
she says that she
Where did she
really
find the time? That's so much.
she re-binged the series, and she says that she actually appreciates the ending now. Now that you
I
know
haven't
the
seen
ending
it.
and going back and rewatching
I'll
it.
take her word for
Yeah,
it.
I know you really hate it. I see. That's another one I didn't hate because you knew that from the beginning. That
Yes,
it was a
but the
purgatory.
producers said that was not the ending, and I've got a major fucking problem with that.
So they lied to you, is what the
well-
problem.
Yeah.
But they also said that the last
Fibber.
season was going to be good.
Fibber, don't fib on me, bitch. All right.
But they
Hey.
also said that the Battle of
that-
Winterfell was going
that
to be
had more
epic, and I can
plot
only
holes
hear
than-
what.
Oh, it was epic as fuck. You know what it reminded me of?
Listen.
The Battle of Winterfell reminded me of. Did you ever see South Park when they had the battle between heaven and hell? And literally all they showed was angels looking on to the fight, going, "Oh my God, this is the best battle I've ever!
Yeah.
Wow, this is way better than Braveheart. This is crazy! Oh my
But you
God!"
never see anything.
But you never see anything. All they show is literally the angels looking on to the fight. You don't
Okay.
see anything. That's how way I feel about Battle of Winterfell. I'm like, oh man,
Okay,
it sounds amazing.
I set the brightness on my TV really high as soon as I saw that this
Racist.
thing was. I will say this: for whatever gaps I think the show had in writing this season, it was cinematically beautiful. As far as production goes, no show will ever match this. No show has, at least in the past. Whatever's coming ahead, I got no idea. But I can't imagine a show surpassing this as far as production values
Production
go.
value, yeah.
This show,
Production
You
value,
clearly
that
haven't seen
scrambled.
Ash versus the Evil Dead.
This-
That production,
this show-
that production of that scrambled porn in episode 3. Oh, and
Listen,
Okay, what I want is
I remember looking
I-
at D&D books and looking at that art and falling in love with fantasy art in
tits.
there, partly, yeah, and seeing that come to life for the very first time in a realistic way during episode 3.
Oh, I thought you were.
What?
Talking, I thought he was.
episode
Yeah.
3 was so whack.
I thought
bro.
you were about to say the
So
Dungeons
whack.
and Dragons movie with Marlon Wayans.
That's,
I said
came to life.
I said realistic way, man.
I would say that I watched the third episode 3 times, and the third time was at Fanny's house, and her TV is brand new. And watching it in her TV, I was able to see a lot more than the first 2 times that I watched it. So I think that has something to do with the TVs we were watching on. I'm not sure, but
that episode was whack, bro.
they could have done a little bit better.
I like that episode. I don't think it was great,
Not that bad.
but I
just-
liked
I'm
it.
just sad that
I think
they
the
didn't.
only thing that saved that episode from being just flat out awful was the end. Was Arya killing the king?
That episode
That's
has
the
my
only thing that
favorite
saved it.
moment
No.
in the entire series, which is the Resident Evil library scene with
yeah.
Arya. Coolest moment in the entire fucking show.
That I
See-
don't know about that, but that's a cool.
Yep.
I like that scene a
stand
lot.
by it.
I do like that scene a lot.
I was hoping.
And
for-
the fact that we saw that was the episode before.
I was hoping
Arya's
for them to get
titties.
the
yeah.
rights to a whole new world. So when the two of them are flying in the dragons in the sky for no reason,
my
If Disney was smart, they would have let them have it for
Bro.
free because Aladdin's coming up now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I don't
So-
care about that movie.
Well,
You're racist.
Racist as hell. Anyway, so
Missy, you were gonna say something?
what were your thoughts in general about? So that's your thoughts in general about the season. You felt rushed.
The season felt rushed to me. Overall, I'd say I probably disliked the season. I neither liked nor disliked the finale. I'm okay with where everyone ended up, but I felt it was fairly anticlimactic.
Mike Mercadal.
It felt like just a splash
I feel
instead
like it
of a
should have
big
been at least 8 episodes.
yeah.
Mike Mercadal had a great tweet. He said, "I liked where everybody ended up. I just didn't like how they got there."
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
that's a good-
pretty
And
much how I
that's a
feel.
decent. I felt. I'm like, all right. I love
That's fair.
I love the series finale up until Daenerys gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
From that moment on, there's a total tone shift where it's like the rest of it felt like episode.
to wrap
Like, it
it
felt
up.
like the Phantom Menace,
Mm-hmm.
where like now we're just watching Senate hearings.
But you know
Like,
what?
and I was like, and I wouldn't have even minded that if it wasn't for the fact that during the Senate hearing they didn't bring up the fucking elephant in the room, which is Jon is a Targaryen. Again, tell me to go fuck myself, and
Yeah.
tell me that it doesn't matter, but tell me that it doesn't matter.
I also think, and now that you mentioned John, and I know that I'm alone on this because we mentioned it earlier in a group chat, that I think the logical place to end the show was not with John walking with the wildlings, but in the small council meeting.
Like slowly pan out as they're
slowly pan. I think that's they should have swapped that scene.
Yeah, but then I don't get to see Torment
But-
and Ghost.
No. See those things.
No, you see those
but
things.
come before, like when they're showing where Sansa ended up, where all the Starks ended up, and then show us the small council
See,
scene.
but I feel
that's nitpicking.
what you were talking
It
about.
is, but I
after-
think that's the perfect close for the show.
what you were talking about the tone shift. The one thing I will say, and I might say this with about 90% certainty, is that I think Tyrion in this episode was some of the most amazing Tyrion
Oh, he was great.
that you like when he finds Cersei and Jaime, and he's literally like sobbing over them.
Yeah, that's a great acting. That's a disappointment though. That scene, I felt like I wanted Cersei's head to be smashed in.
Yeah,
Just her head. I don't need like the fact that the rest of her body's in perfect tact. That's what. But the fact that she had a brick on her head and it wasn't like I just like. Can you just
Yeah.
But then
Give me a
even
crushed-
They ran out of
even at
money.
the-
give
at
me a
the
crushed head?
council-
Give me practical effects. It doesn't have to be. Give me a watermelon. Just have a fucking watermelon. There. Oh fuck, man! Yeah, his fucking head exploded.
like even at the council hearing, the way Tyrion spoke was just to me. That was some
So
of the
much
most
wisdom.
beautiful.
Yeah, he was great.
When little things like setting up the chairs.
Why you gotta say?
Oh,
little,
yeah, the
why you gotta
chair.
say little things? So fucked up,
He's
bro.
allowed to.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It's his people.
You're people.
But yeah, it's
What
a
do
little-
you mean, little people?
like overall? You saw the gambit of Tyrion in this.
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
God, if we had the mixer right now, I'd play the lolly.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
It was a great ride.
No, I love the ride.
I still said I just hate that Jaime's character development in 8 seasons led to nowhere. That's
That
still
was
my
fucking
biggest
awful.
gripe of the show.
I don't think it led to nowhere, man. I think
I do.
I don't think it led to nowhere. He did very noble things. His character arc finished when
Where it began.
his character arc finished, like his peak character finished when he knighted
Yeah.
this chick. That was that was what he had to do.
Then he should
knighted them.
then he should have died in episode 3.
Fine, granted, but I don't think that it hurt him.
Just realized something.
I don't think that it hurt him. I don't think that it hurt his character to love the person. You can't. At the end of the day, you love who you love.
See, but I agree with
and
you.
You can't plan on who you love. It's like when somebody you love does something awful, are you gonna not love them? He tried to not love her. He ran away. He went off. And then when the moment he heard that she was in danger, he didn't think he was gonna survive episode 3, right? And then when he did, he was like, "Well, she's in danger. I gotta go help her." And he wasn't gonna go help her. He was gonna get her the fuck. Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't gonna go fight.
Would you
against
still
her.
do that if you knew the person you love sent someone to murder you?
Again, I'm not in that position. I don't live in that world. To me, the moment
That
you know what I
you
mean.
know.
I think you're trying to argue.
No,
the,
I'm
the
saying
point
I don't.
because
But I don't.
You don't want to
No, the
agree.
easy, the easy answer is no. But
Of course it is,
But we don't live
because
in the world. We don't live in a world where somebody's trying to kill you every other day.
But remember-
He's fucking used to that shit.
Ask John Wayne Bobbitt if he ever got back with Lorena.
No, that's cutting your dick, man. That's hey, slow the fuck down. Slow
but
the
this
fuck
makes
down.
sense
If
because
you put teeth when you're giving me head, I'm like we're no longer speaking. We're no longer
if
speaking
you
terms.
think about
me
it,
make a note of that
the
so when I
ending,
start
the
dating.
end, Jamie's story arc is the How I Met Your Mother story arc. It ended exactly where it began.
And I love
Well,
it.
So it
that
makes
explains
sense.
why he loves
Exactly.
it. There you go.
I-
No, but wait, hold on.
It does.
Okay, yes, but it doesn't disqualify. Like I think what you wanted.
What you're saying is that his character didn't go anywhere, and
It
that's not
did.
true. His character he developed a lot, yes.
Which is what I loved
Yeah.
about him, and that's why and again I know I made fun, talk shit about people doing it, but again I still like the show. It's just that one part of it. To me, it would have had closure to me if Jamie finally got over the fact that he realized how terrible this person is, and that he was the one that killed her.
But how? But okay. But then we're going
He
back.
kinda
to the
did
thing
kill her.
where
he let her down there.
He let her down there.
He-
He kind of did kill her.
He okay.
Yeah, that was not his intention, though.
No.
But then we're going back to like what you wanted, what
Granted.
you would have wanted
Yeah.
to see.
But that's
happen.
one little thing that I'm nitpicking.
That's not a little
over
thing. That's a big
But-
fucking story
The-
with a huge character. with a
Cersei's
huge-
ending is my least favorite thing about the show.
I like
I
it.
think
I was okay
here's
with
my
it.
here's
I
my
liked it because it showed her vulnerable.
yes.
The fact that she had to admit defeat,
And she was crying and
she was
sobbing.
crying and sobbing,
Like Joffrey
when
did.
she was up there in King's Landing, and she was like, nobody's ever gotten past the gates, and they're like, the gates are gone. There's still a fleet. That fleet is gone. And the fact that she had to not only admit to herself that she's defeated and ring the bells, but also admit
Oh, but she didn't ring the bells.
they rang the bells.
Yeah.
So they admitted that they were a defeat. But not only did she have to admit out loud to people, not only did she have to admit to herself, but she had to admit out loud, we got to get the fuck out of here. she had to come to terms with that she lost that bad. Nobody's ever come through the walls. Oh, they're through the fucking walls now. There's a dragon, Your Highness.
Yeah.
And the fact that my favorite part is when she was still trying to be in queen mode, when she was like, stay by my side, and the mountain was like, bitch, you better go fuck yourself. And that little like, excuse me,
That was fucking hilarious.
not only was that hilarious, but I love that because that to me was Cersei would never do that. And the fact that she did that, that's her death, is the fact that she gave up, that she had to acknowledge defeat. That was her death. And then when she was down there crying like a bitch, like
which didn't she make fun of Joffrey or say certain things about Joffrey sobbing, like begging for? No, who was it that said it? Like your son was begging for his mother. Was it Lady Tyrell? I'm trying to remember who was it said it.
Can't remember.
But
now.
somebody told her, it's like,
you
oh,
just watched this last week, man. It's been a few years for us.
Yeah.
So you would be the one to know about this one.
But like I know that somebody had even mentioned to her, like he cried like a little kid, like a little child for his mommy when he was dying.
And that to me, I get it. We all wanted the public beheading. We all wanted that. Everybody
I
wanted the
feel
public
like- No,
beheading.
I didn't want that.
I
The
did.
public, everybody wanted the public beheading because she did the beheading for Ned. So everybody wanted that poetic
Well, but
justice.
remember, she begged Joffrey, not begged, but she asked Joffrey to pardon Ned.
Right.
That's not on her.
Yeah,
That was
no,
on
no, I don't,
Ned,
I don't-
Ned is on
Oh,
Joffrey.
I totally
In
get
her-
it, but we wanted that public.
I would have wanted.
Oh, no,
Arya,
but yeah, I
when
wanted
they
the
were
public
hugging
shaming,
in the
I
map
wanted
room,
the-
I was waiting for Needle to just go through the two of them.
Right.
And that Arya was gonna kill the two of them.
I think that what I told Neri about her death was that I don't. So from a performance perspective, I fucking loved how she was so vulnerable. Like if she gets passed up for an Emmy again, that's gonna be bullshit. For me, I would have been fine with all of it if they would have made her death more gruesome. That's where I feel the weakness is.
like
And
death
that's-
by 1,000 cuts.
And that's where I wanted, and that's why I wanted in the series finale when Tyrion lifts up that boulder. That's why I wanted that smashed head.
Correct.
Because I was like,
Then
give
it
me,
was some kind
I
of
get you gave it to me.
satisfaction. Yeah,
if you gave it to me, that would be you know.
But they didn't.
Which
so-
also, what does that say about us as a society? We're just like,
But
give us more gruesome.
Yeah, but you want to know why? But I would argue for that because she never, like, the only time I would say that it was fair game for her to be as vicious as she was is when she killed the lady who killed her daughter. I forget her fucking name.
Yeah.
That was
Martell.
Martell. That was fair game. But over the course of the entire time, the entire series, she showed mercy to zero fucking people. So it would have been
she
justice.
showed mercy to Ned.
She showed mercy to
Yeah.
Did he live?
No, but
that's
it's
not her
That
fault.
wasn't
That
on
was-
her.
yeah,
No,
that's-
wait.
that's not on
No,
her.
no, no,
That
that's
wasn't on
not on
her.
her.
She showed mercy, except that it
When-
didn't. Wait, showing mercy doesn't. You're just saying.
Can
you're
I
going based
finish?
on-
Let me finish.
Can I
'Cause-
finish? Can I
no,
finish?
because
Okay, I'm
you're not.
finished.
You're gonna cut me off before I even
I'm
finish
sorry.
my
I
thought.
apologize. You're right.
Add
She-
South Park Bigger Longer Uncut to the list of movies she
didn't-
needs to watch.
She didn't show him mercy. She set him up to be on the fucking to have his head on a pike. She didn't think Joffrey would fucking do it because she was counting on him to fucking listen to her.
Right.
But he didn't. So the entire first season, she's fucking trying him. She's daring him to fucking come out with what eventually gets him killed.
Right.
So she set it up and she banked on the fact that Joffrey was gonna. So if you really wanted to show him mercy, then fucking talk about it before the guy's head is about to
But
get
there's a
chopped
difference
off.
between mercy and being stupid and getting something revealed that's
Yeah.
going to be negative towards you. Yes, she used it as a means to an end, but like you said, her expectation was that Joffrey was going to listen and he was going to live.
Right.
You're,
But she's
so- you're,
still-
saying you're saying mercy is based on results, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying that mercy. She showed mercy, whether or not it resulted in a merciful situation. That's I
Arya,
but I get what you're saying.
Arya showed mercy to the Hound, expecting he was going to die sitting there in the rock,
and he did.
Right,
She
and
didn't
he
kill
did,
him.
Right. So what? Right. But I'm sticking to the Cersei thing now. Is that the only time me, Missy, the viewer, personally,
Right.
forgave her for being as vicious as she was when she killed the lady who killed her daughter. That was fair game. But over the entire course of the entire series, I've never touched the book, so I wouldn't know what angle they
seen a
took
book.
there. But she showed zero fucking mercy. So to me, my gripe, my little itty bitty like mustard seed gripe with her death is that I would have been more satisfied with her getting some of that back, which I understand what you're saying about admitting defeat was her death. I get it. But
crying
as far
like a little
but
girl.
gruesome, I would have preferred a little bit more gruesome.
That's why I wanted the watermelon. I wanted the watermelon head.
Give me a watermelon head and then I would have been
Hold on.
fine.
We got it. That would have been great.
Yeah. But
Like
anyway.
a Gallagher moment.
Yeah, it's just like all right. Well, nobody deserves to go to a fucking Gallagher show. I'm just saying, but no, but I as a whole, I like the season a lot. I think episode 3 is my least favorite. And even that wasn't a bad episode. I don't like the episode, but it had great moments like the library scene and Arya coming through like fucking Jordan, and that was a great scene. So that to me, if I would have to give every episode a 10-point scale, I think every episode except for 3 and 6 were 10s, and 3 was a 5, a 6, and then I think episode 6 would be like a 7, which wasn't.
I'd go with that.
That's what I would go with. So I think the whole series is phenomenal. Still ranks on my top mountains, in my mountain of top drama shows. And
we should do a mountain of worst series finales.
Dexter's number 1. I mean,
I haven't seen it. So
well, Lost for you, but
Lost for me, then Dexter.
Yeah.
And How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. That's too.
Okay, well, maybe we don't need the fucking mountain.
I love that episode. I cried. We have it on video, but that's what was recording me. I didn't even know she was recording me. I was fucking crying. Of like happiness though, not of like I know how you guys are
like what I cried.
Yeah, you guys are crying differently. All right. Anyways, so that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed Game of Thrones. That's our season 8 / series wrap up. That's a quick little 40-minute little intro, little bite. All right, man. Thank you guys for checking us out. I am Nary Science. This has been Jeff, David, and Missy. This has been What's Up, Bro? And make sure you check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network at geekbro.net.
And our watch has ended.